Right now, there is a box of spaghetti in your kitchen, and there is a very good chance that what's inside that box has never, in any meaningful sense, been real pasta. Most spaghetti sold on American supermarket shelves is not made from durum semolina, the ancient high-protein grain that Italians have used for centuries to build a noodle that holds its shape, grabs sauce, and delivers that irreplaceable al dente bite. It is made from enriched common wheat flour, the same base flour that goes into hamburger buns, dusted with a little semolina, slapped with an Italian-sounding name, and sold to you at a price that makes you feel like you're eating well. Americans spend over $3 billion on dry pasta every year, and a significant portion of that money is funding one of the quietest scams in the grocery store. Not illegal, not hidden exactly, but engineered at every level to make you believe you're getting something you are not. I spent 3 weeks auditing every brand on the shelf to find the truth, and the results were not what I expected. Today, we are going through 6 spaghetti brands you should skip, and 3 that are actually real pasta. To understand the scam, you have to understand the ingredient. Real dried spaghetti requires one thing above all else: durum wheat semolina. Durum is an extraordinarily hard variety of wheat that contains 13% protein or more. That protein builds gluten, and gluten is the scaffolding that keeps your noodle from turning into a soft, shapeless mess the moment it hits boiling water. Here's the math. Durum semolina costs roughly 3 times more per pound than standard enriched wheat flour. So the industrial calculation is simple. Swap it out, blend it down, put made with semolina on the box. Technically accurate if semolina appears anywhere in the ingredient list, and move on. The FDA's standard of identity for spaghetti under Title 21 of the Code of Federal Regulations allows the use of semolina, durum flour, farina, or enriched farina in any combination. There is no required ratio. There is no minimum semolina percentage. The loophole is written into the law. Then there is the dye. Real pasta is extruded through bronze dies, metal molds that create a rough, porous surface on the noodle. That roughness is everything. It is what makes sauce cling instead of slide. Industrial producers replaced bronze with Teflon decades ago. Teflon is faster, easier to clean, and produces a smooth, almost plasticky surface that looks beautiful in the box and performs terribly in the bowl. Finally, there is the drying. Artisan producers dry pasta at low temperatures for up to 50 hours, preserving the gluten network and developing deep, wheaty flavor. Industrial dryers run at high heat for 4 to 5 hours. The result is a noodle that is brittle, hollow at its core, and virtually flavorless without a sauce to carry it. Strip out the quality grain, swap the dye, Russia. The drying, then put authentic Italian recipe on the front of the box. That is the business model. 6 brands to skip. Brand 1, Ronzone. Flip the box. First ingredient, enriched wheat flour, not semolina, not durum. Enriched wheat flour, common wheat that has been stripped of its natural nutrients and then had synthetic B vitamins and iron added back in. That is what you are paying for. Ronzone is one of the most recognized pasta names in America, and that recognition is doing a lot of heavy lifting. The pasta is Teflon extruded, which means the surface of every strand is smooth as glass. Sauce does not cling. It pools at the bottom of your bowl while the noodles sit there, slick and expressionless. The texture is soft and one-dimensional, with none of the weedy chew that real semolina delivers. The label promises Italian tradition. The ingredient list tells a different story. Brand 2, Cremette. Cremette has been on American shelves for over a century, and the formula has not evolved much since. Enriched wheat flour leads the ingredient list. The noodles are Teflon cut and fast dried, producing a strain that has almost no natural grain flavor. Without a heavy sauce, you are essentially tasting nothing. The strands clump together aggressively out of the pot, which is a direct consequence of that smooth, non-porous surface. There is no roughness for the pasta to release against itself. This is not a minor textural issue. It is engineering failure by design, because real texture costs money. Brand 3, Mullers. Mullers is marketed as a budget staple and priced accordingly. What the marketing does not tell you is why it is so cheap. Enriched wheat flour, Teflon extrusion, industrial high heat drying, the three cost-cutting shortcuts deployed together. When you boil Mullers spaghetti, it cooks unevenly. Some strands go past al dente, while others are still slightly chalky at the core. That is what happens when the gluten network is weak from the start. A noodle built on common wheat flour simply cannot hold the structural integrity that a durum semolina noodle can. You are paying for convenience and nothing more. Brand 4, great value. This is Walmart's house brand, and it represents the logical endpoint of industrial pasta production. Lower cost wheat blends, no bronze dye, rapid drying. When you open the bag, there is no wheat aroma. That faint, nutty, golden smell that real semolina gives off before it even touches the water, it is not there. After cooking, the pale color and muted, almost starchy taste means the sauce is doing all the work. The pasta itself contributes nothing. You are essentially making a sauce delivery vehicle out of processed wheat starch and paying for the privilege of calling it dinner. Brand 5, Kola Vita. Kola Vita leans hard into its Italian branding. The name is Italian, the packaging is Italian, the font is Italian. Read the fine print. The production has scaled up significantly into modern industrial extrusion with a quick drying process that leaves a faint floury aftertaste on every strand. Cooking times on the box are suggestions. In the loosest sense, follow them and you will frequently end up with overdone noodles, because the gluten structure is too weak to withstand a full cook without collapsing. The Italian image is a premium you are paying. The pasta inside is an industrial product. Brand 6, San Giorgio. San Giorgio cooks through in 5 minutes. That is not a feature. That is a warning. Real durum semolina pasta, extruded through bronze and dried slowly, requires 10 to 12 minutes to fully hydrate and cook through. 5 minutes means the noodle has almost no structural resistance. The gluten network is thin, the surface is Teflon smooth, and the drying was done fast and hot. The ingredient list confirms it. Enriched wheat flour. Enriched to meet federal requirements after the actual nutritional value was processed out. The sauce slides off. The noodle goes soft. You paid for pasta, you got something else. Before you buy another box, here is how to audit the one already in your pantry. First, read the first ingredient. It should say durum wheat semolina or semolina di grano duro. If it says enriched wheat flour, enriched farina, or simply wheat flour, stop there. You have a Teflon cut, cheap wheat product. Second, check the protein. A 100-gram dry serving of real semolina spaghetti should show at least 12 grams of protein, ideally 13 or 14. Anything below 10 is a red flag. Third, run the boil test at home. Cook the spaghetti to the minimum time on the package. Pull one strand out, hold it up to the light. Real pasta will look slightly golden and dense. Then bite through it. There should be a clean, firm snap. The slightest resistance at the center. If it squashes, bends without breaking, or feels gummy against your teeth, the gluten network was never strong enough to hold. That is common wheat. Flour behaving exactly as chemistry predicts it will. Finally, look at the surface of the dry noodle before it goes into the water. Bronze-cut pasta looks matte, slightly rough, almost dusty. Teflon-cut pasta looks shiny and smooth. You can see the difference with the naked eye. The ingredient list never lies, but neither does the surface. 3 brands that are actually real. Pasta brand. 1. DeCo. DeCo is the most accessible premium pasta on the American market, and it is genuinely worth every extra cent. 100% durum wheat semolina. Bronze dye extrusion. The rough, matte surface on every strand is visible before you cook it, and it makes a definitive difference in the bowl. The sauce grabs hold and does not let go. The protein content sits at around 13 grams per 100 gram serving. DeCo has been producing pasta in the Abruzzo region of Italy since 1886, and the formula has not changed. You can find it at most major grocery stores for roughly $2 to $3 a box. That is at most $1 more than the enriched flour brands we just went through. For real pasta, that is not a premium. That is just the actual cost of the actual ingredient. Brand 2, Rumo. Rumo is the heritage brand that pasta obsessives in Italy grew up eating. Founded in 1846 in Benevento, in the Campania region, Rumo uses a patented slow-working method they call lenta lavorazione. literally slow working, that preserves the gluten network at every stage of production. The pasta is bronze extruded and dried slowly, developing a dense, chewy structure that holds up under long cooking and heavy sauces. When you toss Rumo spaghetti in a pan with a ragu, the noodles absorb the sauce rather than sitting under it. That is gluten architecture working the way it is supposed to. Rumo is widely available in specialty stores and online, and the price point is reasonable, roughly $3 to $4 a box, which, given the production process, borders on the charitable. Brand 3, Roostella de Brutus. This is the one that changes how you think about dried pasta entirely. Roostella de Brutus dries its pasta for 50 hours at temperatures between 35 and 40 degrees Celsius, compared to the 4 to 5 hour industrial standard. They use 100% gluten-rich durum wheat semolina and fresh mountain water from the Abruzzo region of Italy. The result is a noodle that is dense, almost chewy, with a pronounced weedy flavor that you can taste even before the sauce goes on. The surface is deeply rough from bronze die extrusion, and sauce does not merely cling, it becomes part of the pasta. Roostella de Brutus has appeared on White House menus. It costs around $7 to $8 a pound in specialty stores. It is not an everyday purchase for most people, but as a reference point for what pasta actually is and what you have been missing, it is worth every dollar. Here is what the pasta aisle actually is: a wall of nearly identical cardboard boxes engineered to look different from each other while containing nearly identical products made from the same cheap, enriched wheat flour, run through the same Teflon dies, dried in the same industrial ovens. The corporations making these products are not hiding the ingredients. They are betting that you will not read them. They are correct most of the time, but now you know. The first ingredient tells you everything. The protein content confirms it. The surface of the dry noodle makes it visible. You do not need a lab or a food scientist. You need 30 seconds and the willingness to flip the box. Real pasta exists. It is on the same shelf, sometimes right next to the brands we just walked through. It costs slightly more because it is made from a better grain, shaped through better equipment, and dried with actual care. That is not a luxury. That is just food. Your health and your money are not commodities for these corporations to optimize. The food tells, because you have the right to know the truth. Subscribe for more.